What's up, everybody? It's Sid and Millie back with another episode, chatting about the drought today.
Yeah.
We have been
Drought
feeling
slash
it.
heat wave.
Yeah, drought slash heat wave. We have been feeling it in North Carolina where we are living.
Yep.
And yeah, just kind of wanted to chat about even just our experience with the drought and how we're dealing with it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely no surprise to anybody living in the United States and even across Europe as well that we've been experiencing a pretty massive heat wave. This is obviously caused by the El Nino conditions that have been developing in the Pacific Ocean. And in El Nino conditions, typically in El Nino years, it is a sign of drought. It typically brings a lot of drought, a lot of lack of moisture. And even right now, we're seeing the Atlantic Ocean is just dead calm. No hurricanes forming, no tropical storms, just silence.
Wow, yeah.
So that's kind of what we're experiencing. This is obviously caused by, like, maybe not obviously, but further caused by like the jet stream being disturbed. So, essentially
I didn't know
the jet stream, the jet stream is a ring that typically, controls the air currents higher up in our upper atmosphere. But as that gets disturbed, it becomes wavy, which allows pockets of weather patterns to essentially sit in places abnormally.
Okay. So that's like causing the drought and also maybe not causing it, but contributing to it.
Definitely.
And also like contributing to the lack of storms building up in the sea?
Well, the lack of storms, I think, is the El Nino effect.
Okay,
so there's a lot of speculation of whether or not this is a super El Nino or just a normal El Nino.
Okay.
But essentially, the difference is just how severe of a drought it's going to be. So the Pacific Ocean, essentially largest ocean on our planet, to no surprise, it dictates the weather for Earth.
Okay.
So if it's a dry year, which the El Nino is, we are on track for a dry year. And that's what we're experiencing right now.
Yeah, we are experiencing it. I mean, we've had a couple of storms where we're living, but nothing super crazy. And like the water levels at the lakes near us are super low. Like lowest, I mean, Millie has lived in this state for his entire life.
Yeah.
And you said you've never seen the water levels this low.
Exactly. Yeah. I had never seen the water levels so low. And as we know, when we drove up into that park, they had a severe drought warning on the signs.
Extreme low water levels.
Exactly. And prevented boats and all the stuff from going onto the water due to how low the water levels were. So very baffling. And like I said, haven't seen that in my lifetime living in this area. I've never seen water levels that low.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just a crazy time we're living in.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. And I mean, it's widespread across the United States.
Yeah.
Some areas aren't affected as it happens, not everywhere can always be affected by the same things, but most of the United States, I think it's like upwards of 70% right now is experiencing some form of drought. And like, if you, I was looking at the droughtmonitor.edu website, and it basically shows the droughts in different states based on the data that's being provided. And so like for us in North Carolina, this is what it looks like. So as you can see, it's all between light yellow to dark red. And the light yellow is abnormally dry. There's not a single area in North Carolina where it's not affected by some form of drought right now. And the very dark red spots is considered exceptional drought, which is the highest level of drought that they can get on their map.
And most of our states in D3, which is extreme
drought. And that's just North Carolina. And you were telling me something, I mean, and that's just our experience, right? Like that's what we're experiencing right here. And you were telling me something about the Colorado River.
Right. Yeah. I watched a video today that was talking about like the Colorado River Basin essentially being only at 37% of its capacity, highlighting that the west coast of the United States is experiencing similar weather patterns to us, which makes sense if you look at the pattern of the jet stream, which I mentioned earlier. It kind of like loops down and around. So it's like the west and the east are getting hit extremely hard. Oh, wow. That's a perfect map. But it really highlights we'll include the date if you can.
Okay, I just don't want to cut off more of the
we don't care about Florida.
Florida is also mostly all in drought. But so here is the full United States map. So as you can see, there's certain areas that just aren't really affected. The white is none. And then the west coast of the United States is just like covered in drought and dry spots.
Yeah.
Like so
Yeah.
bad. And even up the east coast as well. Like you could see from North Carolina basically all the way up through Virginia up to some of the more northeastern states. It's
It's
all
crazy.
experiencing
Yeah.
some form of drought.
Yeah, and it's wild to see it this widespread. But down here, southeast United States, our temperatures every single day are in the 90s
Every
every
day.
day. Humidity is a monster per normal, and then the heat. I mean, just like the heat index is reaching the triple digits almost every day.
Yeah, almost
Um,
every
and it's
single
pretty
day.
wild that we're on track for another hottest year. We had the hottest June. Now we're on track. Like it is just a repetitive cycle of the heat just getting worse and
Yeah.
worse. And it's tough to do things outside. It's tough to get outside. It's tough to exist outside because it is
Yeah.
just so hot down
So
here.
hot, like you're at risk of like heat
Heat stroke,
stroke,
heat
you're at risk of
exhaustion, dehydration.
dehydration. It's
Yeah,
just not really worth being out in the sun right now.
no.
I mean, even sun diseases like
Yeah. Skin
sunburn, skin
cancer. Yeah,
cancer,
yeah,
you're at a
definitely.
way higher risk for things like that right now as well, just because of the
Yeah,
UV index and the heat that
facts.
we're experiencing here. So it's dangerous to be
It
outside. I
really
mean,
is.
thank goodness for air
I
conditioning.
know. Yeah. I mean,
Really
we literally wouldn't survive
wouldn't
without
survive
it.
without air
No, we
conditioning
could not
here.
exist down here without air
Mm-mm.
conditioning. But yeah, it definitely is like very trying times. I mean, on top of that, with the drought, that obviously comes with water restrictions. So we've already seen ordinances across the state and across the country of, people not watering their lawns,
Yeah,
those sorts of water restriction things. And I think it highlights kind of like a shift in our priorities, I guess I would say. It's like we shouldn't be watering a single golf course right now. Not a single golf course should be watered. Not while we're
no.
experiencing drought nationwide.
Yeah,
It's just absolutely ridiculous. Like golf, sorry, needs to go so that we can make sure that people have access to clean drinking water. Additionally, data centers have used AI data centers specifically have used over 260 billion gallons of water. And that is at the same time that 63% of our country plus is experiencing drought.
yeah. And
That does not
potentially
make
having
sense.
water restrictions while data centers are just
Guzzling
slurping
water.
up the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, for
Slurping
real
up the
though.
water
For
and
real.
stealing it basically from people who could actually utilize it.
Exactly. Americans. And like
Yes.
we need to shift, right? We need to shift our perspective on these things and make sure that human beings have access to water because water is a right to life sort of amenity. I know that they've commoditized it through capitalism with the bottled water industries and stuff, but water is a human right. We need it to live. Our bodies are made up of it. So if we have to choose between golf courses, AI data centers, or clean drinking water so we can shower and drink water, I'm
Should
choosing
be obvious.
accessible water every time.
100%.
And in these
100%.
times, we are literally in severe drought. So this isn't really like a time to be like, oh, no, we need water for golf
I
courses.
know.
You know what I'm saying? Like it isn't really that sort of discussion because severe drought impacts all of us, right? Like we're all impacted by it, by these water restrictions and these ordinances that are being put in
100%.
place. And there are states across the country that are, having ringing the alarm bells about this water shortage and this crisis.
Yeah.
And yeah, humans naturally would utilize more water when it's massively hot outside because you got to
Of
drink more.
course, you have to drink more
Yeah.
water. You have to, I mean, people are probably showering more often,
Yeah, because they
you know.
sweating, stank.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it really just doesn't even allow people the ability to feel comfortable, even just like using water to do those things,
Yeah,
especially if their local like government has ordered, I guess, for people to not say water their lawns or be like
yeah,
very
yeah.
careful with how much water they're using because
Facts.
they know how much water is left in
The
the
reservoirs. Yeah,
reservoirs.
yeah.
We
It's
don't
true.
necessarily, but they know. So if they're issuing these warnings and asking people not to be overusing water for their lawns and everything, like that's kind of a clear sign that water is scarce.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny to me because, well, I've got 2 points. One is like, whenever I make a climate change video or a water shortage video, on, you know, any of my platforms, it's always met with those people of, oh, here's the water cycle. Look at this water cycle. We learned this in 5th grade. And it's just like another example of a certain group of people refusing to analyze facts, data that are presented to them, because as we know, you know, the water that just falls down onto the sky or out of the sky isn't drinkable for humans immediately, first of all. And second of all, in a severe drought, where's the water
There's
coming
no
from,
rain.
buddy?
There's no rain.
So again, some of us, again, are able to look at all of these factors and, you know, realize that this is why it is so important to utilize our water correctly and not waste it on things like golf courses or AI data centers, because of the fact that it is starving our system, and that will inevitably lead to shortages for Americans in the long run. And I know a lot of people can't really see something until it impacts them directly, but I'm telling you, we do not want to experience a water shortage. It will be terrifying. That is not what we want to happen in our country. So we're at a very pivotal point nationwide where if this drought continues, when this drought continues, what is the answer? Well,
what's going to happen?
Going to have to cut off some of those data centers, in my opinion.
Have to, please.
And you know, and beyond just like water access for drinking and showering and using in your house, you know, there are deeper implications as well. So as we mentioned earlier in the video, we touched on the Colorado River Basin and how it's only at 37% of its capacity, in terms of all of the dams in the system that feed into the main tributaries and rivers that feed into the Colorado River. Essentially, that system drying up, that is a ton of energy that is also lost. That's the Hoover Dam not providing energy anymore. That's other dams in that area. I think the guy in the video I saw said there was upwards of 40 or dams in the Colorado River Basin area. Oh my
gosh, that are like providing.
I don't know if all of them are hydroelectric,
but just generally, but
yeah,
some of them are. So.
Some of them are at the point where they are so low that they will no longer send water upstream. And some of those instances are predicted to happen as soon as this year.
Wow.
Where we could potentially see, you know, not the Grand Canyon, the Hoover Dam essentially not being fed water anymore.
Wow.
And that has massive implications for anybody who lives in that area. Again, because not only do they drink that water, utilize that water for everyday life, but that water provides energy as well.
Wow.
So there's a lot of implications to this extreme drought and this heat wave that are going to reverberate throughout our society if something isn't done.
Yeah, or I mean, water.
Yeah, right. We literally, everybody get outside, start your rain dances.
No,
actually, twerking for rain out here. No, but for real, literally whatever it takes. And I think this also highlights another need within our society is of water collection systems. You know, every time it rains, you know, people, I mean, I don't know if it should be on a house by house individual basis, but I feel like every house should be outfitted with a water collection system through the gutters or through whatever, whether it's a bin on top of your whatever, but to collect rainwater that can be utilized in times of severe drought.
True.
I think that it is now with climate change, we're realizing these temperatures, these heat waves, we're seeing them every year, year on year on year on year. And we have to adjust the way we are approaching our experience on this planet if we want to prolong our species. And I think, you know, water collection systems, that helps fight against some of this severe drought. Yeah. You know, you don't have to worry about your city's ordinance to cut off watering your lawn or your plants if you have your own water collection system that you can utilize to then water your plants.
Yeah, I just feel like that should be the norm for watering your lawn anyway. You shouldn't need to use
like water from the system.
Like drinking water
to
water your lawn.
Right.
Because the grass doesn't care if the water is and human level drinkable.
Yeah. And I mean, we talk about that all the time. Like, what purpose does a lawn even serve for people? It's literally just grass. Like it actually isn't anything special. Like if you want to have a cool lawn, add exotic plants, add flowers, add trees. That's what would make your lawn look cool.
True.
But just having a bare lawn of just pure grass, it just doesn't make, it's literally not worth the water.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. It's not worth the water.
Yeah. North Carolina might turn into a state like Arizona soon where people don't even worry or bother about grass. It's just rocks and cacti.
Yeah. And God knows it's hot enough out here for it to be like that.
No,
literally.
Truly.
I mean, you step outside. I know brick usually is for the cold, but it's the same thing here. You step outside, you get hit with that brick immediately. The heat just saps your energy. The sun's had enough of us down here. Like,
Yeah.
like it's hot. It's so hot.
It's
It's too
so
hot to
hot.
exist.
So hot.
And so, yeah, I feel like water collection systems in cities on houses, that should be like a no-brainer at this point, so that we would have an excess of water to prepare for situations like this.
Yeah.
Water processing plants, maybe it's time we reinvested in that sort of infrastructure as well, so we can process more water, more of our wastewater. And even with the AI data centers, they obviously turn clean drinking water into gray water. How can we process that output and try and get that stuff back into our system, so
Yeah.
that we don't have to experience these water ordinances and cutbacks and all of these things.
Yeah.
Not that we all shouldn't be trying to conserve in our daily lives anyway. You don't need a 30-minute shower or to leave the water running while you're brushing your teeth. Those are just obvious things. But I do think that there are some things that we could do instrumentally to address some of these issues,
absolutely,
because it's happening every year.
Yeah, definitely. People need to adjust and change the way that they're doing things in their water output.
Yeah.
Or input, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the way that people are using water should be
Facts.
addressed and changed, because again, lawns mean nothing.
Yeah, they suck.
Yeah.
It's just grass.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense to grass. I know grass is a living being. No nutritional value, no anything.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be there if people didn't plant it.
Exactly. Yeah, it literally wouldn't. But so yeah, I don't know. We don't have all the answers per se, but regardless of the fact, the way our water is being utilized right now in our society is not working. And that is highlighted by the fact that we are experiencing another severe drought that we are ill prepared for.
Yeah.
And the fact we're ill prepared is because there's already water restrictions being put in place.
Yeah.
And there are towns and cities that are running out of water across the country.
Yeah, scary times.
So hot as balls. So stay cool out there. Make sure to stay hydrated. Wear your sunscreen if you have to go outside.
Yeah.
And yeah, try and stick it out. I mean, begging for winter at this point. I know, for real. But yeah,
any sort of cool weather.
Anything else? No, good. All right. Well, those were our thoughts on this heat wave and drought combination that we are experiencing here in the United States. It's brutal out here, and we cannot wait for it to end. See us outside with some rain dances.
So if you made it this far,
thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.